Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Earl explained it to me.
Now, say my name.
Looks like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. That's never happened to me before.
Shit. I've been waiting for you.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Two of you need help.
Well, Kevin, I guess it's just the two of us, and we clearly need some help this week.
I know. I'm still trying to repost this on Twitter and not get like feedback.
Oh, that's okay.
Sorry. Wop, wop, wop.
Hey, we're professionals up in here, bitches.
There's only two, and we don't know how this house works.
This is how we started, and we don't remember. Well, welcome to episode number 32, everybody. We are still rolling along strong. It's just me and Kevin this week. Everybody else is a bit preoccupied, and that's okay. We have a fun slew of topics in store for you. Horror, sci-fi on a live stream. Yep, that's us. And that said, hey, make sure you hit that like button down below. We're going to do our little shill here at the moment. So, and if you like us, please do comment down below. Share our video out. We greatly appreciate it. Comment. We got a chat rolling along. So, hey, check out the chat. We got some fun people on there from time to time. So please stick around with us. And if you like us, if we can earn your money, you can join us on a member stream here. So
we'll sit on a cake for you.
We did enable memberships, and we are somewhat monetized. So for anybody who wants to, it's there. If you don't, no problem. Not required. Nothing at all. We have to earn it. So no worries about that. Kevin, let's start stripping for money.
Monies. Oh, God, I'm horny.
And that's how we start this stream.
Well, you're going to love this shit then.
We don't have adults with us this time.
No. So, as you guys could probably tell at home, we're all dressed in black. We're going to go a little bit professional tonight. The news did not go the way that we thought it would this week. A little bit more mature. So we dressed a little bit more mature with it. So, that having been said, sometimes on this show, we have to start out with obituaries. So
we bid adieu to very good people and very talented people.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to eat, if not each other, food. That's all the nice things I had to say about these people. Anyway,
I win the poll.
So there was 10 obituaries that we got to be like, oh my gosh, these people are like really worth talking about on our show. Mr. Hudson, we started talking about last week because he passed away right as the show was starting.
Right.
He was the star of Days of Our Lives for 40 years, just about. Like,
yeah, that was a really long run for him.
He is going to be sorely missed. He's probably one of the most popular daytime TV stars ever.
I always enjoyed him on Days of Our Lives. He was like one of my favorite characters.
Yes, and I think one of the neatest things that they did is he became friends with Dick Van Dyke. And so he got Dick Van Dyke on there to play John's dad. And I was like, that's just the goddamn coolest.
Hey, can't go wrong. Dick Van Dyke's very, very sweet man and excellent comedian. So,
oh gosh, he's like royalty in television.
Yeah.
So
he will be missed.
He will indeed. And also John Ashton from Beverly Hills Cop.
Taggart.
We talked about it when we talked about Axel F a few weeks ago, that he was looking a bit old, but how great it was to see him playing this role at one more time.
He still had it.
Yeah. Like it was so good to see the four of them again together, or
Yeah.
the three of them again. So I'm glad they got that opportunity before he passed away.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. They, oftentimes we talk about sequels later, and it's like, hey, if you had made this like 2, 3, 5, 7 years ago, you could have done it while everybody was still alive. They actually got that in while he was still alive, and hey, they did a pretty good job as far as I was concerned. I enjoyed the movie a lot, and I thought he was perfect as the new captain.
There's something floating in my butterbeer, and I'm not sure. I'm going to pretend it's ice.
Don't drink the worm, Kevin.
It's sealed, so I don't. Yeah. Anyway, apologies.
Yep. Well, unaccepted. Drink the worm. No.
Drink the worm. Oh, this one hit hard, man. Chris Christopherson. What a fucking legend.
Whistler.
God, my earliest memory of him, I think, was watching him on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
And like Miss Piggy just had the biggest crush on him, and my grandma had the same look on her face that Miss Piggy had. So
Captain Stud Muffin.
yeah, and I cracked the joke when he passed away that there are no shirt buttons in heaven, because in the 70s his shirt buttons didn't start until like down to
The belly button.
Yeah, just above the belly button, because like all this was like hairy and masculine for him.
Gotta show the heavy chest there.
And he was like, I'm sure he could have been ornery like Whistler was and whatnot, but like from what I understand, he was one of the most genuinely sweet people on earth.
Absolutely. I heard the same thing too.
The fact that he was successful is beyond me, because he was so nice. Like he was just that talented.
Well, and I never really knew he was a country musician, like for the longest time. It took me many years before I figured out, oh, okay, I probably heard his stuff when I was a kid, when my dad was driving around in his car, and my mom too. So,
Yep.
And I just never realized it until like when Blade came out. I think that's about the time I realized, oh wait, this dude was a musician? Oh shit.
Yeah, see, that's how I mainly remembered him,
Wow.
was being that country musician. But my grandparents listened to that old style country back when there were only two types of music, country and western. Yeah, he was country.
Real country.
Although I did hear he sang a country western album once. Anyway, so he'll be missed. I say watch your Blade movies, listen to your country albums, and even play your gun video game, because God, he was a fucking killer in that one too.
On a steel horse he rides. He's wanted, dead or alive.
I didn't sanction the singing this week. Anyway.
Dikembe.
Did not expect to see this name in the news this week. Most certainly not in the obituaries. Golly, what a titan from our childhood. Like, and I say that with every pun intended. Like, this was a super tall man with a really large heart that could play basketball like no other. So, the sports.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was a bit shocked.
Yeah, truly. And then speaking of the sports world, Pete Rose passed away also this week.
Big red machine, baby.
I'm really sad that he didn't get into the Baseball Hall of Fame before he passed away.
Yeah. They had their opportunity to fix that, and they didn't. It'll probably be posthumous, but
I hate that shit. I really do. Like that's
bullshit. Especially now that baseball is probably sponsored by DraftKings. Like
shut up, really?
Get into that bullshit. And I don't want to hear about all the other bullshit things. There are people in the Baseball Hall of Fame who've committed worse crimes than he has, and everybody's pretty sure Ty Cobb actually killed a dude. So
with
just saying.
You think Babe Ruth didn't kill a man? Shit.
With Twinkies, maybe. I'm kidding.
I want to get killed with Twinkies. Anyway.
But based on like his playing career, like he was top shelf. Great hitter, great base runner, he was the all-around one of the very best baseball players of all time. Him not being in the Hall of Fame is utter crap. And keen-eyed wrestling fans will remember him from being part of some Attitude Era WrestleManias against Kane, the Big Red Machine, the wrestler, as well. And some Royal Rumble appearances.
Didn't they get him up in the gobbledygooker outfit once?
Yes.
God damn.
And dude was a character. He absolutely was funny as hell.
He loved it. Yeah. I think it was the Oh My God or the OMG disc set that they put out, but they've got a little section just for Pete Rose and Kane and all the fucked up shit that they did to each other. And it was so much fun to watch.
Yep. Pete running down the hometown baseball teams and getting a tombstone pile driven in. That was so funny.
And that was in
He's a bad guy getting cheered all of a sudden. It's like, oh no, I don't think that went as planned, or maybe it did.
And that was in his 50s and 60s even too.
Yeah. Yeah. God.
He was great. So
Legend.
Shame on baseball.
Yeah, really.
Ed O'Neill is cast in the recurring role in a new Hulu series. Good for him. I have no idea what it is, but always glad to see him.
Go back. Who is he starring with in that? Kim Kurt. Oh God.
I was just trying to make you go, what? Sorry.
Kim Kardashian, Glenn Close, Naomi Watts. Okay, Naomi Watts is fine. Glenn Close is fine. Sarah Paulson? Oh, okay. I see a lot of ladies and only like one other dude.
Oh, be nice. Sarah Paulson's cool.
Hey, I got no problem with her or Naomi Watts. I guess we'll see. It's a legal drama. Can we get our like Married to Children reunion?
Bitch in everything she's in.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. That's it.
Gavin Creel, Tony winner, was found dead in his Manhattan apartment this week. American Pickers star Frank Fritz. Who at first I got so scared when I saw this, I thought it was my friend Ruben. And I was like, oh my God,
Ruben?
what happened? What happened to Ruben Rica? Oh, okay, never mind. That's not him.
Shout out Ruben. That was sad to see Frank go, though.
Yeah.
I remember watching that show with like my dad.
I never watched it. I was very familiar with it, just was never on my radar.
Most people liked Frank a little bit more than the other guy. So.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't have the best relationship at the end, so that's too bad.
Oh. That happens. Heineman. Anyway, TV producer Kaylin Gorman passed away after battling breast cancer. This stinks. We knew her from the special features to the Punisher movie, the one with Ray Stevenson that we just watched. She was a neat lady. She did a lot of TV work and a lot of production work behind the scenes. So to see someone that was really working hard behind the scenes it always sucks. Those are the good people.
Yeah, this is the one that really caught me off guard.
And then probably what just like grabbed me by the throat and choke slam me straight to hell was Ken Page, the voice of Oogie Boogie.
Oogie Boogie.
And it's great. Anytime Danny Elfman would go on a tour with a concert to do this.
Yep.
No one was ever singing Oogie Boogie except for Ken Page.
Mr. Ken Page.
Yeah, like that's always who was singing Oogie Boogie. It was just to be expected.
Great
So
voice.
it's going to be really weird to even consider anyone else him singing Oogie Boogie songs after this.
Yeah.
So,
We're watching Nightmare Before Christmas, every Christmas in this house. So
yeah, I try to make my kids, but they have no class. Well, a
that's on
little.
the parents.
Oh goodness. And then finally cinema legend John Amos passed away.
Yeah.
This one really hurts, especially considering it was just after James Earl Jones.
McRonald's.
Yeah. And like golly, I had to sit and watch this again this week, and I'm never unhappy watching this. Like Mr. Amos is just a brilliant actor, always commands respect in whatever role he was playing. Even he wasn't a dickbag in this movie, clearly, but
No, he was a caring father who was very protective.
yeah, who wanted his daughter to be with a dickbag because he was the most financially stable.
Well, when you put it that way, Kevin.
Kids at home, if you have not seen Coming to America, you are hurting yourself every day that you're alive and not having seen that movie.
Yeah, just do not watch the second one. It's just not worth it.
No. But it's up there with one of the funniest movies alive, or funniest movies ever made, like with Clue, Blazing Saddles. This is another one of them.
Damn right. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Ah! Also dying this week is the competition between Direct and Dish.
That's too bad. Like, that was always a good option way back in the day, but they couldn't compete with the cost of like cable and then streaming. So
yeah, like I was never really never thought who was gonna win.
I've had Dish at various points in my life, and my dad still has Dish Network himself, so he's enough out in the rural parts of Wisconsin to warrant it. And I like Dish. It good picture quality. Just you can't get really much for internet. You got HughesNet and some other things, but download speeds are great. Uploading is not great. So
oh, bummer.
But no, this was bound to happen at some point. So as long as it's not going completely under, and my dad has to get forced into something else, I mean, this will be all right.
Probably not. I mean, I would figure it's all your bundle's gonna look like this now.
Well, until they get like legit like high-speed cable and internet options out into rural areas, this is still going to be a thing, and that's probably going to still be a thing for at least another 10 years.
I kind of hope so. But I mean, I want technology to get there for everybody, but
Right.
I don't see that actively happening.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Let's see here. More dead things. Beetlejuice.
Woohoo!
Will be available to stream next week, starting October 8th. It will be available on digital.
Wow, that is pretty quick.
That's quick, but here's the rub. It's not coming out on physical until November 19th. So they're kind of pulling.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, they're pulling what Sony did with Ghostbusters and being like, "Oh yeah, here it is digitally." For those of you that don't want to or that want the DVD or the Blu-ray, you've got to wait an extra 30, 35 days.
Yeah.
After digital. It's like, fuck.
That's actually pretty well timed for November 19th for it to Black Friday special. And while everybody's fat off of Thanksgiving, hey, let's order that movie and watch it.
Yes.
Or order it and, get it for a Christmas present for somebody. So that's probably going to make bank.
Yeah. This is probably going to be Warner Brothers' huge cash cow for the year. So I say good for them.
Hey, I got no problem with how they're doing that. That works fine. I just want to see every other movie being treated the same way. I mean, I'd rather like the theater experience be a little more like when we grew up, where this movie was in theaters for like 2 or 3 months before that, but that's not how the world is these days. So this is what we get. But it's a good option for everybody wanting to see it at home. You're finally going to get your chance. And then for us physical media peoples, we're going to add this to the collection. And that's when I might actually pick this up.
You know, speaking of the physical and the digital, I've been losing my shit this week since Tuesday, in fact, when Deadpool and Wolverine hit digital, and I've been waiting for my friends to add it to our Plex server, and they haven't yet. And I don't think they're going to. And I'm just sitting there staring at the fucking, like, the TV, like, is it there yet?
Is it there yet?
Is it there yet?
We're not there yet.
I want to see it so bad. And I know as soon as it gets on there, my wife's going to be like, oh, we've got other things to do, or I don't want to watch it.
I think the price on that's pretty steep too, from what I remember. Like
Yes.
Deadpool and Wolverine, it's like what, $65 for the goddamn movie?
God damn, really?
Let me double check that real quick. Deadpool and Wolverine 4K.
On digital?
For the Deadpool Wolverine 4K combo steelbook, it is $65.99. If you just want a regular Blu-ray, that'll cost you about $27 right now.
Yeah, I'll wait on that.
I will actually show that to everybody here, so you can actually see what the hell I am talking about. And you can keep your screen up. This will override, I believe. So,
override me. I see.
So there you go, everybody. $65.99 for a steelbook. Now, the price will probably drop a little bit, but that's not going to be less than like $50, even with your pre-order price guarantee. Your standard Blu-ray normal case is going to be about $27. Your DVD right now is $35. It's probably going to top out at about $20 to $25.
Goodness.
I don't see the Blu-ray getting lower than $25 at all. At least not for a long time. But most people want to see that steelbook, and that's what it's going to be like.
There's 2 steelbooks, aren't there? There's 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's supposed to be another one that might be more Best Buy, Walmart, or whatever. Oh, here we go. And you are not buying both of those with that price. You're only getting one.
Correct.
So if you want both, you're going to end up paying for that.
$130.
Because it says collect both, sold separately. So if you want one of each that kind of ties into each other, you're going to have to pick. But if you really love the movie, you're probably going to be buying both. But to the tune of $100+ for the two of them? Hell no.
Okay, so I bought the last 2 Ghostbuster movies on digital before the physical came out. But that's because I was so tired of pirating them and the shitty quality of the pirate sites.
Yeah.
And I loved those movies so much that I didn't care about paying them twice. It was like, take my money, bitches, take it, and my pennies. Anyway, but I have been patiently pirating Deadpool, but I'm tired of doing it at this point. I want to see it on the nice quality TV that I have on my soundbar. I want to watch it with my kids. And I want my son to see Wolverine the way that he should be seen in all of his dope ass glory. I don't want to explain. I don't want to explain half of the things that I'm going to end up having to explain in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, things I need to tell you later. Yeah.
Well, that's what we do here, Kevin.
Parenting. Yeah.
Parenting 101.
Incest came up on my kids' cartoons today, and I'm like, you turn this shit off. My wife's like, why do you want me to turn it off? I'm like, then go ahead and explain incest to them. Just listen to your father. No, please explain incest. I want to hear you explain incest to the kids.
Do you speak English?
The shit that happens in my household, I swear to Christ.
That's the most drama of all the week here so far.
It was the Ninja Turtles making out. I'm like, the fuck is that?
I don't even want to know more of that context.
I'm like, that's just sacrilegious. Nasty.
Oh, brother.
Anyway.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Not on this TV.
Nope.
Oh, back to things.
There's a death. Oof.
Yep. Back to things that are dying. That 90s show, the TV show that nobody asked for, that no one wanted to return that did.
And nobody watched.
Yep, is getting canceled again. Well, it's getting canceled.
Yep.
Is this the third time or the second spinoff?
Because there was the second spinoff, if I remember correctly, because it was the 70s show. Then there was that 80s show that lasted one season.
Yeah.
And then there was this one, that 90s show. So this is 2 reboots, and both have not gotten past season or 2.
That's right.
And I love Kurtwood Smith. Don't get me wrong. Love him from RoboCop. Bitches leave. But unfortunately, I think the well is dried up on these kind of sitcoms. Unfortunately. I was never a big fan of that 70s show to begin with. That probably loses us a couple of viewers on that one, but I don't rail on anybody who did like it. It's just, it wasn't my cup of tea.
You know, I don't know if this has anything to do with Danny Masterson or the people that were supporting him.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't have thought so either, but that would be my only suspicion otherwise, because Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp they're a blessing together on screen. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They were the only really funny part of that show to me. Otherwise, I didn't care for it back in my 20s.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that one. I was more Malcolm in the Middle anyway.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah. And I only kind of tolerated that for a bit, but it's sad. It's unfortunate. We're not adding it to our docket, so don't worry, everybody. We're not covering that on our nostalgia TV show.
Yes, because I'm not that nostalgic for it.
Well, and when it comes to Netflix, this kind of a show needs to actually bring in an audience and actually be watched 50% or more to completion. So when it drops, if everybody just only watches an episode or two, they want retention for the whole show and that you actually subscribe to the thing. They have their own very specific formula, and if it ain't hitting that, then it ain't sticking around. And unfortunately, didn't hit it. It's not sticking around. It lasted as long as MST3K did.
And this show had a budget to it. Like, they had guest stars on there that I'm sure cost a pretty penny or two.
Yeah, they certainly tried. Hell, Big Show had a sitcom on here. Forgot what it was called. I think it was just the Big Show show.
Oh, it was actually pretty good. I watched the pilot to it. It was funny.
Okay.
But I like Big Show. Like, anything Paul does is hysterical to me. Like, he's got a direct link to my funny bone.
Yeah, he's a pretty good comedic talent. So
yeah. So, but I'm sorry that this cast and crew are now shopping around for the show.
Somebody might pick it up.
You know what? There is a good possibility that they could, because this is a popular IP. I know it is. I was never a fan of it.
I could almost see this maybe going on like CW.
Yeah.
Not a cable channel. Somebody's going to want to put this on there and give it a fresh coat of paint. They'll probably tweak a few things.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I could see it happening. Doesn't mean it will, but I could see it happening.
Get some Britney Spears music on there.
Well, what I would do is I would trade this with Amazon Prime and have us get the Tick TV show so Netflix can take over the Tick and give us our 3rd season that we've been waiting for about 4 years now.
Make that happen, Ben. Make it happen.
Make the trade. Let's go. Trade deadline's coming up. Let's go.
That would be cool. The streaming.
Just saying.
Streaming trades.
Hey, stranger shit has happened before. Family members, Family Matters went from ABC to CBS for like 2 or 3 seasons.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yep, the old Friday block programming got switched around a little bit, and Family Matters went to CBS for a couple years.
Wow. I need to find my DeLorean and figure that shit out.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of which,
Kwan.
this was the Netflix first look for God, what is it? The electric. I can't see. Electric State.
Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Ki-Hugh Kwan, and Giancarlo Esposito and Stanley Tucci. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to promote Rotten Tomatoes or anything like that, but
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah. But I like what they had going on here. I was like, well, there's something to this. It looks fun. I'm willing to watch that.
I'll probably check it out. I mean, there was a movie the Russo brothers did. I'm trying to remember what it was on Netflix. I didn't watch it, but I was kind of curious about it.
Oh.
I am looking it up.
I don't know. Justin will probably pop in there and be like, you guys, it was this.
Hey, that's cool too. Come on, Justin. You know you want to be on this.
Hurry up, goddammit.
You know you want to watch this show. Or this movie.
This movie. This is a movie I want to watch.
Venom 3, The Last Dance.
Yeah, I don't care how good or bad this is. Like, the last movie was not good, and I still watch it with great enthusiasm. Great disappointment, but also great enthusiasm. Because I love the Venom character, like the duality that they have between Venom and Eddie. I really appreciate in these two movies.
Well,
So,
that's what sells this movie. It's not anything else, really.
yeah, this is not Todd McFarlane's Venom. This is not 1990s Venom or anything like that.
I know everybody wants that, but that's not what we're getting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I have a feeling where things are going to go for this Eddie Brock and this Venom.
Null and Void?
Yeah, I think so. But these are kind of international posters for them. I like this one from Japan.
That's cool.
It's a little bit more Harlequin romance novel.
Well, the trailers made it seem like it's a bit of a bromance sort of deal going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are in a way. I mean, yes, they both want to end up with. I can't think of the blonde lady's name. Julie.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, like Venom just is totally infatuated with her, but like the movie's a bromance between the two of them. The second movie didn't deliver with what they had to work with at all. Like, they dropped the ball with the bullets they had that were Woody Harrelson playing Carnage, but they still had that good charisma between Venom and Eddie. So I'd really like that to continue here. I don't want to see Eddie die, but again, they're saying this is the last dance. They want to bring Venom into the MCU, and people that have been in these Sony Spider-Verse type movies cannot be in the MCU. And I believe that includes Venom. So, hold that thought for a second. Here's some of the merch, the popcorn merch. We've got the popcorn bucket that we've been seeing. Up in the upper right hand corner there is the gray man. Keep that in mind. The cup in the upper right hand corner is supposed to be like Venom tendrils all over your cup. And then you've got these holders down below that looks like a black Venom and a white Venom.
Yeah.
The white Venom, I'm guessing, is anti-Venom.
Oh, okay.
And
I was gonna say, I'm not that familiar with the Venom comics or anything.
To my knowledge, anti-Venom was after the Venom suit got ripped away from Eddie, it was given to Matt Gargan, the Scorpion. And so he was Venom for a while, and he was on the Dark Avengers. And then Eddie came back in order to stop him and all the other symbiote nonsense that was happening as a result. And he had the power of the anti-Venom. and had a
Okay.
white suit like that. And I think that's how they brought Eddie back and made him relevant again.
Interesting.
And then I stopped reading comics. So
That was it.
people are like, that was 20 years ago, you lame ass.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie too. So
Yeah.
and I perfectly agree with everybody. The second one was terrible, but I still watch it anyway. It's like me with the Resident Evil movies. First one's actually pretty good. The rest of them are complete trash, but I love watching them. They're fun. But if you want honest to goodness, like, what do I really think of them? They're bad movies, but I have such a good time watching them.
Yeah, it's my favorite action heroine kicking zombies in the head with like both feet off the ground, riding a motorcycle at the same time. It's like while shooting them. Not realistic, but I'm not looking away, and I'm just like fist fucking myself in the mouth with fistful of popcorn. So, keep that movie going. I love it.
Another reason why we do the "How do you fuck it" popcorn bucket segments.
You fuck it, popcorn bucket. Well, it's funny you should ask, because some of the food selections that are coming along with
I
them
saw this.
have this black goopy skeety venomy symbiote looking goo on it.
Yeah.
And people ask, how do you make said popcorn fuck it bucket? Well, by fucking it with the popcorn bucket.
That alien Romulus bucket got to come in handy somehow. And I mean both hands, ladies.
And the lady in this video is really pretty too. And I'm just kind of like, man, that just kind of makes it even hotter.
God, I'm horny.
Jesus.
Oh, let's see here. In Marvel news, so Captain America 4, they have retconned all reference to the character of Sabra being an Israeli superhero. In one of the rewrites, they apparently said that she was a mutant, or that she explained that she was a mutant, and she was going to be the person that introduced what mutants were to the MCU.
Okay.
Other than Wolverine. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. So basically now what she's going to be in the newest version of Captain America 4 is a depowered, retired Black Widow.
Oh my God. What are we doing here, people? Like, if you're going to have that character in there and you're not going to at least go all the fucking way with it, don't go halfway, then pull back, halfway, then pull back. This isn't like random sex with a stranger. Come on, you got to get in there and fucking do it.
All the way.
If you got to go in deep.
They half-assed this character from the get-go by not having her in a costume. Whether they reference who she is, where she's from, or what have you, they half-assed it by not having her be that character that she is in the comics. Granted, she doesn't look that cool, but
this is Marvel trying to course correct on stuff, and it's like, wow, it's a little late for that now.
Yeah, like it worked when you course corrected the Mandarin a little bit. Like Winwu was a good character, or they made Winwu an interesting character. It was not the Mandarin, but was still cool. But they course corrected pretty well with that. I don't know how they're going to do with this. I don't care how they're going to do with this. I'm not interested in the character. That's also part of the problem.
Not my Captain America. So
hopefully Buck shows up. I like Buck.
Bucky will probably show up. I'm willing to put money on it, but
I want to know if Bucky got together with Sam's sister. That's really what I want to know. Like,
was that from the show? Because I never watched the show.
Yeah, like in the last 2 episodes, Buck was basically like palling around the boat, just needing something to do. And so he started fixing the boat for Sam, and started flicking the sister shit at the same time, because the sister was flicking Sam's shit. And so that's how they became friends. Like, oh, we could both verbally beat up on Sam. How fun. Like, it was actually legitimately a cute scene with them. I did like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was a bit long, and the bad guys weren't all that in a bag of chips, but
Okay.
it was still a good show. It had a good heart between Sebastian Stan and God, I can't even think of Anthony Mackie. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Romance. Gotcha.
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious how they get from that then to then Thunderbolts. Don't try and just rhetorical question, because it's like, how do you get from like something like that to then all of a sudden Thunderbolts?
It's employment. Without Tony, the Avengers aren't funded. So Thunderbolts are a CIA team that are disavowed. I think that's what that's going to be. So they were never a team to begin with. They just got together. Like, I think Val's going to like try to kill them all at the same time together to save time.
Okay.
And that's how they become a team.
Interesting.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Not the Marvel guy. Sorry, everybody. That'd be Kevin and Chad.
Chad's a DC fella. He's a DC fella.
Speaking of DC.
Yeah. No. This is.
Oh, I know.
This is still Marvel. This is going to be live action first shots of Spider-Man Noir, which I thought was going to be animated. So
I thought so too.
This is kind of cool. I'm not sure. I don't know what this is going to be, but I'm totally here for it.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought this was going to be animated too.
Yeah, I love the Silvermane survives in skivvies.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely an older kind of style headline, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd really like if this turned out to be a fun detective type show for Nicolas Cage. I would really love that.
I could see that.
And
I like Nick Cage, so I'll wait to see the outfit, though.
Yeah.
The full outfit.
I imagine it should look pretty much the way it does in the game.
I think so.
At least I hope. Because it looked cool there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, unconfirmed, but super fun Marvel news. It is being reported that Logan Kim is being cast as Hulkling in a future MCU movie.
Who the fuck is that?
Amadeus Cho is a prodigal scientist, and I don't know. I don't remember exactly how he got himself gamified, but he's basically a gamma level Hulk type creature that's as smart as Bruce, but late teens. So he's trying to think of just a nerdy teenager that's a genius, like a young Tony, a very young Tony. Not as
getting a headache trying to figure that out.
Not as douchey as Tony, but
as douchey as Mark Ruffalo. Will that work out?
I don't know. His mom is the lady that creates Ultron in the second Avengers movie. So this will end up being her son.
But
maybe they had a thing and that's what happened. Which I don't know why they're going to bring Hulkling in when they're already trying to bring in Scar.
Man, they're bringing in like all the Hulk stuff. I'm wondering if they really got the rights back from Universal then, or if they still hold on to main Hulk.
I don't know.
Strange. We're seeing like Red Hulk, we're seeing Hulkling, we're seeing Scar. It's like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? We're seeing like the leader, we're seeing half his villains. Like, what the hell's going on?
Maybe Universal figured out that they only had the Incredible Hulk.
Maybe. Or Ang Lee's Hulk.
What the hell? Shit,
we got stuck with Ang Lee. Crap.
Hate that fucking picture. And I hate people going, well, when you look back on it, it's really not so bad. No, motherfucker, I look back on it and really it is so bad.
The only good parts of that movie are literally when he's the Hulk.
Yeah.
That's it. The movie is fucking boring. I'm sorry.
It's boring, it's stupid, it's
And I've tried to
lackluster.
rewatch it. I am not changing my mind. The Hulk parts are great. That's it.
I learned to eventually like the Mummy and Van Helsing. I can't like Hulk. I can't.
Yep. I call that Ang Lee's Hulk. I don't even call it Hulk.
Mm-mm. I don't let my kids watch it. I don't no, it's not good.
I mean,
Like-
and I like Jennifer Connelly, and I like,
Oh, sure.
I love the cast. It's just the movie was not okay.
Yeah, like even Nick Nolte, you can't say anything bad about Nick Nolte playing the Absorbing Man, even though they didn't have him playing Graydon Creed at all. Like,
Yeah, they had him play his dad.
yeah, who's not the Absorbing Man. So it was just really weird, but he played a good character for what Ang Lee told him to do.
Right.
So, but this was all, again, very weird times. It was prior to Marvel Studios, where anyone could do anything that they wanted as long as Marvel licensed out the picture.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
anyway,
Jeez Louise.
this will end up being part of the Young Avengers Hulkling.
Oh, I see.
Ow. Yeah, we will end up seeing him later on with Billy and Tommy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And the new Hawkeye girl, maybe. Haley, anyway.
Hot guy or Hawkeye? No, I'm kidding.
Yes. So speaking of which, thank you,
It's spoiled.
Funko, for showing us images of Wiccan and Death for Agatha All Along coming out later this year,
Yeah.
later this month.
Briefly talked about that last week.
Yep. And I was kind of like, well, how badly are they going to show it? No, yeah, they showed it. Okay, well,
Oh, yeah, that's right. New episode this week.
yeah. So, Brad Winderbaum, that's their new spin guy's name.
Oh.
For Marvel TV. He gets to go on the podcasts and spin what they're up to and tell them, well, we're developing this. Marvel's a developing company now, but we're going to develop more than what we actually produce.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of good fluff work comes from him. And what he was going on about this
He's a
week,
fluffer?
yes. People are home going, what's that mean?
Google that. Dare ya?
So they were saying basically that this is
Stroke it out, Kevin. Little harder, boy.
it just meep. Just
And demonetized.
there we go. This is the cheapest of the Marvel TV shows so far, Agatha, and they're basing that it's successful based on that. I don't know that that's technically the way it works, but good on them. And it's what he's saying is not true, that this is all very practical effects. They're not using a whole lot of CGI. They get to a scene where they're in a set for a good long period of time, but otherwise, anytime that they're on the road, for the most part, there's a lot of green screen.
No.
So, like, I'm not sure what kind of CGI that he's referring to, because I do see a lot of green screen. But for what they're doing, it's necessary. Like, it's not just, oh, we don't want to spend the money going on location. Like,
Well, they also finished this like 2 years ago too. So part of this was shot on the volume during some COVID restrictions, I'm willing to believe.
yes, yeah. And the writer's strike or the actor's strike, so not everyone was available all at the same time. So, but going on with that, I watched it for the plot, and this was the plot this week, basically.
Lesbians?
Yeah. Yeah,
You need 38 more seconds, Kevin.
I do. They were apparently Rio and Agatha had a relationship a long time ago, and they're basically what it is hinting at is that I don't know how she's gotten the name Rio. Rio is the Death. It's the character of Death in the Marvel comics, and that was Agatha's lover, and she had to take Agatha's child. Like that was just her job, and Agatha took it personally.
Interesting.
And so that's why they hate each other. And so that's part of the story started making the show get interesting again. Otherwise, this episode might have started getting boring where they're repeating themselves, like having to get through a different part of the road each time they get to a different house, which is like represented by the episode itself. Last week was Real Housewives. This week was Guitar Hero. Basically, like
Really?
one of the characters, her mom was a witch that burned alive, and
Okay.
they don't know what happened to her. They say she got lost on the road, and she says no, my mom was burned alive in a hotel fire in Budapest, and she doesn't know how. And then ever since her mom died, her life has gone to shit. Well, there's a demon that's cursed her family for years, and anytime it's attached to that witch, like nothing goes right in her life. And the song that opens up the road that her mother made a cover of was a protection spell. So if they sing it the exact same way that the mother sang it, it would protect this girl. And so it basically ends like they're kicking ass singing this music video, destroying this demon as if they were like kicking ass on the final level of Guitar Hero. And I'm like, son of a bitch, they just fucking kicked ass. They just did play Freebird.
Oh my God, not Freebird.
Yeah, that was the boss song to the first Guitar Hero kids. So people at home going, what the hell is he talking about now?
Yeah, admittedly, I'm not watching this show, but like based on what you've seen so far, how well do you think this is actually moving as far as the plot goes, and do you think it's going to end decent? I mean, I'm not watching this, and I'm not gonna. So,
I think so. It's going better than Acolyte is so far. Like they haven't done any flashbacks, and they're halfway through it so far, and I'm like, good for them.
Okay.
I am enjoying it. I'm not bored yet. Like I said, had they not gotten to the new plot points with Death and Agatha starting to show a little bit of maternal instinct over the teen, it would be getting boring, but they are adding those story elements properly. They're adding them right at the right moments, and it's keeping it relevant for me.
Okay. You got any concerns though with the show?
Yes, and that's going to lead into the next moment, and that they're developing a show on going to find the other brother after this. Now, this was supposed to be a trilogy: WandaVision, Agatha, and Vision. No, I'm okay if they do an extra story, but this just is another sign that they didn't have their shit together at all. Like all of Phase 4 could have been about Wanda and her family. Like them finding each other throughout different parts of the multiverse and then bringing themselves back together. That could have been Phase 4 in general. And it's like they're just kind of picking up like, oh, hey, that was a good idea. We could have done that. We could do that now. Let's do that now. Do it. So I guess better late than never.
Okay.
But Vision was supposed to be the bookend. So now it's not, apparently. So like now they have to go find Billy. Tommy is the teen in Agatha. Billy, the boy on the left that looks like Quicksilver, who is as fast as Quicksilver, is somewhere else lost in the multiverse.
Okay.
So that's no, not yet. Not yet.
Did we? I had to read this like 3 times. Like, did we find out not Wiccan is Wiccan yet?
Yes, and the sigil, is that a W or is that an M? Yes. Yes, it is.
I made the joke. It's a W upside down. It's an M&M.
It works either which way. Anywho,
Too true.
so that is my concern is
All right.
that they don't have a plan, or that what
Big
they
shock.
thought was going to be their crescendo isn't, and that they might lessen Vision. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Vision, so we'll see what White Vision does compared to Philosopher Vision.
White Vision? That's racist, Kevin.
Racist, the colored Vision.
Monochrome Vision.
Oh,
Sounds like an actual problem.
Oh, speaking of little shit stains, super shit stains.
Now we get into something I might actually know something about.
Nepo babies. So there's going to be an animated movie coming out of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, the first two Robins. And I don't think it's going to have anything to do necessarily with Nightwing and the Red Hood. Maybe Nightwing and Robin. But I don't think Red Hood's going to come into play at all. But I think this sounds like it could have potential.
As long as like Dick is actually in a Nightwing form, you know. And
yeah,
very likely is based on the picture and what we're seeing.
Yeah, or you know, Jason needs to go to Bloodhaven for whatever reason to blow off steam from Bruce because Jason's an asshole, and they could make it work that they need to be together and be a dysfunctional family. And I didn't get to see a whole lot of stories of that when I was a kid, so hopefully that, you know, they've got like plenty of room to play in that sandbox.
I wasn't too big a fan of Jason Todd as a character until he became the Red Hood. So,
yeah, like I wasn't a fan of his until he became dead. Then I was kind of like, ha splat. At that point, he was Joker fodder. Like he was that pig head, that present for the beast, as they say in Lord of the Flies. He was that message that the Joker will fuck people up. That was the importance of Jason Todd for me.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I'm a fan of Dick, so
I am too.
And
I
yes,
really like Dick.
I just said that.
I said you love Dick. Dick.
Well, I really liked him as a Robin, and you know, I like his arc in general to begin with, so I have no problem with him. When he finally became Nightwing, I was like, yes, he could be on his own.
Yeah.
I just don't like what they've done with the newer comic book runs with him. Not going to read them, but I don't like what they're doing with my boy.
It's been almost 20 years since I've read a comic book, so I can't say shit.
You're not missing that much.
No.
More
No.
DC. Let's go.
Yep, this one I should have left for Chad. One of these things does not look like the other.
The fuck? Was that supposed to be the Justice League with George Miller?
No, this is the Green Lantern Corps, except for one of these Green Lanterns isn't like the other Green Lanterns. Completely different type of power altogether. Just happens to be a Green Lantern. The one
It's
in
the
red
guy
there.
with a mask.
Yep. Anyway, not the important part of that story. The important part is James Hawes is set to direct the first couple episodes of the Green Lantern Corps series.
Gotcha.
So that's some more good news within this month that they are rolling ahead. They are going on schedule, and that's a great sign for Warner Brothers because they don't typically do things on schedule, if not even to completion. So,
Collider though. Wonderful.
Yeah, I know. And then another director news. Barry Sonnenfeld was on record saying this week that Will Smith farts incessantly on the set of Men in Black. That they had to clear the set out for a couple hours because it
Work
stunk.
on that diet, bro.
So, like,
Will Smith is a farter, and it's just some people are, and you really don't want to be inside a very small, hermetically sealed space with a Will Smith fart. You don't even want to be sitting next to him at the Disney Ranch. Wow. We evacuated the stage for about 3 hours, and that's incredible. No, he's, a lovely guy. Just, he farts. Some do, some don't. So it is written, so it shall come to pass. So it is said by Barry Sonnenfeld. Felt.
Nasty.
I'm no raspberries, Kevin.
I think of chicks like my wife and her cousin that at that age, girls of a certain age, just like how moistened they were by Will Smith's name. And they'd just be like, "Ooh, he's so hot."
We're never going to get a female on this show now because of that, Kevin.
I know. Anyway, that's just my jealousy.
Will Smith.
We fart. We get told to go clean our shorts. He farts, and everyone's like, "Ha ha ha! He's funny." Yeah.
Well, it might have helped the Wild Wild West movie.
Speaking of which,
Polly. Polly Perrette will never return to acting. I'm a different person right now at this point in my life. I have this deep need to find authenticity in everything, and being an actor, especially at certain points in my life, was a great escape. It's like a drug because I didn't have to be me. I could be somebody else. The character didn't have all of the problems that I was having. It's why I only watch documentaries. I want the truth. For me, going back to being an actor would be taking away from this life of true authenticity that I'm living 100% of the time. Okay, Polly.
Namaste, chick. So, that's somebody else that's a natural farter. Just goes without saying.
Natural gas.
Natural gas.
Tap that. Tap that gas.
I would. Huff it like a bong rip. Like a bong rip.
I liked Polly when she was in Special Unit 2, so.
Oh, yeah. She was fun in that.
Yeah, she was great. Nobody remembers that show, but do check out that show on our channel. Special Unit 2, Season 2.
I watched it with you, and I don't remember that show unless you would tell me. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. I need to watch it again. Oh, here's something horrifying that didn't need to be. Paramount is, I don't know if they're just kind of like tapped out with the Transformers, but they're going along with a live action Rugrats movie, which is going to be a lot like the Smurfs, where it's a live action real world with CGI characters.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So is this their idea of doing a live action thing like Disney's been doing with all of their animated classics?
I think this is a way to compete with themselves with Sonic.
Oh, dear God.
Like, I think this is just kind of like, well, hey, let's, this is working with Sonic. Let's try this. Let's try it with Rugrats. I don't know. This doesn't sound like a bad idea. It sounds like a gross idea, like visually. But for as popular as Rugrats was, and that demographic has long since grown up, I think something like this could have been very popular 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
People are morons.
They graduated to SpongeBob and got even dumber.
Yeah. But at least they had Hasselhoff in that.
That's true.
No, I never watched this show, but, them doing a live action CG hybrid feature like this, I mean, good luck. I mean, we're still going to get a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover at some point, so stay tuned for that.
And that's what's really important in life.
Yeah. Skydance and Paramount are going to make sure they spend $300 million on that motherfucker.
It's a tax write-off.
Yep. Money laundering scheme 101.
Give it to Paramount. Oh, speaking of which,
The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell.
Yes. So this is coming out in the fall of next year.
Yep.
Still don't know.
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know that it needs to be done, but I do like Glenn Powell.
I like
the
Edgar
Running
Wright.
Man. I guess, yes. I'll give it a shot. I still won't watch Total Recall, but I'll give this one a shot.
Well, I think this is more being based more off the book than the original movie with Arnold.
I know, and that's why I'm willing to give it a shot, because it's kind of like, well, you know what? If I can get through multiple versions of the same Stephen King movie, this 3 different movies of the same Stephen King novel,
and we'll get to that soon, everybody. So stick around.
Yeah, like I could probably survive this pretty well. I don't think this is going to go the same way that Total Recall is going to go. I think this might actually be a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. Have a good night, Sonia.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm a fan of The Running Man, and I'm not a big fan of like Stephen King these days, but I'm game to watch it. A lot of his older books were enjoyable. It's just once he started doing like the last 3 of the Dark Tower series, finally, it's like, I think I'm kind of done. But, some of the movies end up being at least enjoyable to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are pretty bad. Some of them are pretty good, though. Just we'll have to wait and see how this goes. They're saying it's a remake. A remake is redoing the first movie. This is more being based off the book. It's not really a remake. So
yeah.
It's more reboot based off of the book. So
yeah, because really Arnold took a concept and made a movie for himself based on that concept. And
I like that movie. So
yeah, it was totally cool. Like everything he did was a vehicle for him to look cool in the 80s.
Yeah, like with him and Jesse at the Body Ventura.
Oof. Yeah. Anyway.
Let me tell you something, brother.
I'm not your brother, bitches. Oh! Serious news. Shots fired earlier this week when SNL poked fun at Spirit Store. Spirit Store shot back, calling them an 50-year-old irrelevant show with no name cast.
Really?
Oh, and shrinking ratings. And you're just kind of like, girls. Can't you both be right? Like, come on now.
It's funny. You bring up Spirit Halloween, and I have that Spirit Halloween movie down here in my stack of movies I'm going to be watching.
Is it good, or is it like to be watched movie stack?
I haven't seen it, so I'll let you know. That's the one that's got Christopher Lloyd in it.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of like, ooh, that could go either way. That could be really great or really bad.
Where the hell is that one? Oh, here it is. Spirit Halloween, the movie.
Hey! Which is funny because they don't have the logo or the colors of Spirit.
Yeah. No, I'm this is in my stack of movies to watch for the month of October, so we'll see if I can actually get through them all.
We watched Trick or Treat this week. My wife and I, when the kids are gone, and I didn't even realize we were watching it in 2 weeks from now. And I was like, oh shit. Okay.
It's our Halloween episode, everybody.
Should have taken notes on that one. Whoopsie doodle.
You'll watch it again.
Like, don't people just remember things anymore? No. Anyway. Yes.
Lord.
Pink Floyd. I am like a mega fan of Pink Floyd, so this kind of caught my eye. I don't know how this is going to go, but they sold their music library for $400 million to Sony.
Hey, cash out.
Kind of, yeah. Like, give your grandkids that extra whatever island. Yeah.
Or two.
And then the last thing I have, we started off with a lot of bad. So I'm ending with something really good and really special. Like, Fodor told us last week that his son was in danger it was basically cut off from civilization getting help with the hurricane flooding and all that. So Miss Dolly has donated over $1 million in her community so far, helping like rebuild and getting people electricity, roofs sealed and whatnot. Like she's doing a lot for her community there. And I just wanted to remind people that she's a fucking blessing and we don't deserve her.
Yeah.
So
that's how it goes, doesn't it, Kevin?
yeah. Yep. God,
Well,
I love Dolly.
Yeah.
And I hate country music. Fucking hate country music, but I love Dolly.
For a few reasons.
Oh,
Or at least two.
She's adorable. She's Miss Mona.
She's funny. Yeah. What was that 9 to 5 that she was in? She was pretty good in that.
Yes.
Everybody knows the song, but no, she was also in that. So
9 to 5 is another one of those movies where you're just like laughing pretty much start to finish.
yeah, she had some good charisma and presence in that. So I get a kick out of her in that.
Yeah.
Well, I got a few things, and Kevin, you and I have both watched Salem's Lot, but before we talk about that was discussed that it was originally supposed to be a 3-hour long movie. Thank you, Bloody Disgusting.
Ah.
Like the other versions. The long-awaited
Thank you.
for cutting it down, or
For at least acknowledging that they cut so much out of this fucking picture. Like, it was bothering me so bad how much that we're cutting out of this story. Like, it didn't make sense. Like, unless you knew the book, you knew the other two movies.
Right.
They cut out so much that they left in just enough to make a good movie. Or a decent movie. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Right.
But there's just so much great shit that gets cut out of it.
Oh, yeah. And basically, when they're talking to, what's going on here, the long-awaited movie adaptation from director Gavin Doberman is now available to stream on Max. It's been out for a minute now. Unleashing a stylish vampire outbreak without much in the way of story. That's pretty spot on. Turns out that there was a much larger or longer cut of the film that Doberman ultimately trimmed down for a leaner runtime. The filmmaker revealed in a recent interview with Den of Geek, my first cut was about 3 hours. There's a lot left out. My first draft of the script is 180 odd pages or something because you're trying to include everything. And a lot of it has to do with secondary characters and stuff that I spoke about. So it was sad to see that stuff go, but it's like a necessary evil. While I get that, unfortunately, I feel like if you're going to trim it down, you got to trim it down smartly. It felt like there's things that are just not explained at all and not properly built up. So I feel like some stuff that was cut out really hurt this movie because the pacing of this is terrible. And that's putting it bluntly. Like, and the editing, like, I know you had a professional editor on this. I know you did. But the editing sucked too. So your editor and you sat down and this is your idea of a smooth film. It's jarring. You jump from one fucking scene to another and you are missing literally important context from not just previous versions of this, but like the book in and of itself. You are missing actually important context to one scene to the next. And we're not doing like an hour-long breakdown, or we could get into specifics about that. But there's a lot that is missing out of this, and it does hurt the film. And the pacing is just terrible. It's just terrible. It's 2 hours, and it feels every bit as long as a 3-hour movie does. Does it mean I didn't like the movie? No, I actually enjoyed it. Why do you say you still enjoy it after you just said the pacing's horrible and the editing sucks? Well, I'm not beholden to the story, but as a film fan, editing sucked. But when the movie was over with, I'm like, that's not bad. Looked pretty. If you want a real nitpick from me, I did not like all the 70s cars and 60s cars looking like they just rolled out of a museum, spick and span spotless. That kind of pissed me off. Like, if you're going to place this in age appropriate era like this did, you got to have a little more wear and tear on these cars. They should not be looking immaculate. Not everybody was immaculate with their cars during this era.
No.
So, and there was a little too much makeup, it was way too pretty. It needed to be a little bit grittier and darker. So,
yes.
What do you think, Kevin?
I was beholding it to the story for the longest time. So I was kind of like, I don't think these guys like read the first book.
Right.
Or watched the movies. Like, I think they got the cliff notes and had the names and had certain things that needed to happen, but didn't like add all those things up like they had to happen this way.
Right.
I'm like, so I think maybe they just went, you know what? Fuck this book.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We could do this a little bit better.
So I mean, I know they wanted to swerve the audience because this is a very old book. They've had 2 movies made of it already that were very good, and they are held in high esteem still. Like, I don't know anybody that's been like, the Salem's Lot movies suck. Neither one of them are bad movies. This one's not a bad movie. On a level of comparison, yeah, it's bad compared to the first 2. I'd say especially compared to the second one.
Yes.
Because the second one did have all that extra story in there. It did have the realtor's daughter hooking up with the doctor, acting like that they were in love, but really she's just trying to extort him with her trailer park husband. Like it was just a dirty, gritty ass town.
Oh yeah.
And they made a point to say that's how Barlow took over here. The town was already dead. Like, William Sadler should have had a much bigger part in this movie. And he was
absolutely
kind of wasted in it. And I know there's only so much you could have him do at this age.
Right.
But the sheriff had a lot more lines that could have been delivered by Sadler. He had a lot more action that could have been delivered by Sadler.
What, you don't like him getting thrown through a plate glass window at a church and go flying in through the room?
That was cool. That was cool.
Like the funniest scene of the whole movie, and it actually worked for me. I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick.
Well, see, that was another one of the things. Like, all the vampire special effects are like top notch, probably the best you've seen ever anywhere. The scariest probably since the original Salem's Lot. Now, like, that didn't look like a vampire, but it was a scary creature. And
I like the look in that first one, and they tried to give homage to it here too. So
yes, and they just abandoned that completely in the remake back in 2004.
Yep.
And it was very sorely missed. Like, they had Rutger Hauer playing Kurt Barlow, and he was chatty like Barlow is supposed to be, but didn't look scary at all. They just put a black light on him, and you're just kind of like, ooh, he's got big pores. But this one was actually scary. My only thing is they didn't show him enough.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was really cool. The one thing that just really got to me is where the vampire nest was. That was probably the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
What,
really?
The drive-in didn't work for you, Kevin?
That was so stupid.
Hey, if anybody's worried about spoilers, you might want to just kind of mute this for a bit.
Yeah.
But this is also a very old book, and if you haven't seen any of your other ones, like, what are you doing here anyway?
And you've been here with us for almost an hour and a half. We've already spoiled Agatha for you, so
you are welcome.
Oh.
Well, and also according to this, like one of the key scenes that was trimmed was Ben Mears' chilling encounter with Depression-era hitman Hubert Marston in the eerie Marston house, later purchased by Kurt Barlow for his antique shop. In the book, Ben sneaks into the Marston house and he sees the ghost of Hubert Marston. The director explained to Den of Geek, I shot that and it used to open the movie, but it seemed to muddy the waters for the audience. The ghost story within the vampire story, to me, it's so important because it's why Ben believes the vampire stuff, but we're not telling that story. So that was the hardest thing to cut because I loved the sequence. Maybe you should have gone for the idea of maybe doing this as like a short mini series instead of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, because that's what the first two movies were. Is they were two miniseries that were like 2 parts.
Well, and on Max, the original is on there and it clocks in at over 3 hours. It's like,
Yeah.
it's right there for everybody to watch if you want to watch that one. So, and you're going to get a little bit of a better story with that too. So,
Yes, and that movie scared my dad so bad when he was a kid back in the 70s. It's like I was forbidden to see it until the 90s, and by the time I saw it in the 90s, I'm like, this movie sucks. Like I read the book in 88, 89, somewhere around there.
right.
And I liked it. Probably a little too young to be reading it, but I really enjoyed it. I was really disappointed with the movie when I finally saw it. So when I saw the Rob Lowe version, I was kind of like, oh man, this is so much better. And then I see this movie where I'm just kind of like, well, that's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Like all these special effects are top notch. All your actors are top notch. They're not better than any of the previous casting, but they're still this generation's really great actors. And they cut out so much of it. It was just very, very unnecessary.
Right. And what's keynote is the next little paragraph, and then I'm not going to read the rest of it. You can all go check out Bloody Disgusting, or while this is on screen, you can kind of give it a look. But, you know, what's even more intriguing is that the IMDb credits Swamp Thing and Friday the 13th actor Derek Mears as Hubert. Perfect casting choice for the intimidating, eerie character. While the ghost may have conflicted with the vampire story, it would have fleshed out Ben Mears' motivation for returning to his hometown. You cut out Derek fucking Mears? Fuck off. Wow. He was a great Jason and even better as Swamp Thing.
Yeah, man. Like he's a very commanding presence. And they did like that whole bloody pirate sequence is like completely cut out. You have to very quickly like catch the beginning credits and see all the different newspaper clippings to figure out that backstory that they cut out.
Right.
And then again, you have to have watched the movies previously to know what it is, because otherwise, yeah, it's not very comprehensible at all there.
Yeah.
And then there was some race swapping, gender swapping, character swapping. None of it was really all that bad except for the doctor. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh dear God, what are we doing? I mean, I like Alfred Woodard. It's not her.
She was the only reason why I liked the character.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the doctor's kind of putz in the book. Like he really is. But I mean,
I like how she got smoked at the end, though.
Susan always dies, so it's like, you know, that I couldn't have been too upset about. No. And one thing you have to remember about in Stephen King movies is everybody fucking dies. Like the old books, everybody dies.
Well, the endings always play like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, there was always that twist where it's like you only think things are okay. Right. Or the killer does come back and kill the main character. Ah.
I mean, my favorite book is like Needful Things, so.
Yeah.
Salem's Lot was always a little bit lower tier. That's why I'm not so beholden to the story, but like, I always enjoyed it.
Needful Things was great. Salem's Lot, you know, I always thought it was like this great big thing because of my dad putting so much stock into it being so scary and so creepy that I want it to be a great vampire story. And I think it is. But I think this was a great disservice. I think Warner Brothers should have said, you know what? This is kind of an iconic IP that we have at this point. Like it's popular. It's well known. Like don't do it dirty.
Right. And the fact that you're like, hey, we're going to keep this on Max instead of putting it in theaters. Maybe at that point you're like, hey, we got this as a 3-hour runtime. Maybe we can split this up into 2 parts and simplify the whole thing. Just find a good middle ground so that people can watch these in 2 installments.
See, that's the thing. If you're putting it out on Max, there's no fucking reason at all that they should not have had that director's cut.
Bingo.
Really should not. Like you're not taking a gamble on it in general. So don't. Just fucking put it out there with the way that the director wanted to make it.
Yes.
I don't know. Directors, we talk about it all the time. They don't have the creative freedom that they used to have anymore. They can't make the picture that they want to see.
No, they don't. But unless you got any other thoughts about this, Kevin, you got a final thought on Salem Slide? Would you give this thumbs up or thumbs down for everybody, or thumbs in the middle?
So when I was talking to you last night before I finished it, I said I wouldn't.
I finished it before you then.
Oh, it was the night before last. I said I wouldn't have added this to my collection. I'd just be satisfied with it on Max. Now having watched the third act, I'd probably buy it just to have it be part of my collection. And I did like the third act.
Yeah, for all the weird pacing, horrible pacing and editing, and things that are missing. If you're familiar with the story, it'll drive you crazy. It's like that third act actually is fun to watch, and the climax and the finish, that they do actually stick the landing decent enough that I'd be like, you know what, I wouldn't be opposed to watching this again. I would prefer to watch it based on this article. I would prefer to watch the original cut though.
Yeah.
I think things would make a lot more sense and it would come across as a better product. So I'd go about thumbs in the middle. You know, some people might really like it. Some are probably not absolutely going to like it. You know, I have issues with it. I did enjoy watching it though.
IMDb gave it a 5.3 out of 10.
I'd say that's pretty fair actually.
Yeah, I would too. Because it's better than a 4, but it's not as good as the originals, and the originals were in the 6 range. So I'd say it's about what they say it is.
Yeah. For We're in here, I still need to see those 2 newer It movies. I'm a little bit behind on Stephen King adaptations.
The first one is really good.
Yes.
I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one was really good.
That's what I've been hearing. Is the first one's great, the second one is not.
But too bad.
I still kind of want to see it and kind of give my own opinion on that. I'll probably feel like everybody else does, though.
The first 5 minutes of the first movie, it's everyone's got pretty much the same reaction to it. Like, fuck me.
Right on. Well, speaking of directors who like to do their vision and stick to it and actually deliver on that, Nosferatu's coming up, everybody. We have a final trailer we're going to play here. And we like our buddies over at Bloody Disgusting, so we're going to use them as well again. And they finally released a full trailer instead of just a little teaser one. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to play that right now. God damn it, it did this shit again. All right, 1 second, everybody. God damn it. I thought I had it again. For people who are not aware, the last time I tried to play a trailer through a website like that, they want you to sign back in, and it's like, fuck off. I don't want to do that. I had it already set up and ready to go, but you walk away from the computer long enough, and you're screwed. All right. And I got this, and we're going to turn the volume down a little bit. And we're probably going to get hit on this. So if you try and watch our replay, we apologize. We will have this uploaded as its own segment separately after I do a little tinkering with the video. But Nosferatu, brand new trailer starting now. Merry fucking Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, I'll be partying that for Christmas for sure.
God, that looks so good.
I hope it is. I really hope it is. Like,
visually, Robert Eggers always delivers at least a visually stunning movie. Now, I know some of his track record for some people is like The Lighthouse is kind of but The Witch is great. I really like The Lighthouse. You know, I like his movies, so I'm really looking forward to this. I still need to see The Norseman though.
see, I've not seen any of those, so I don't really have a bias against it or for it one way or the other. So
I would recommend you watch The Witch, his first one.
okay.
And then one of these days I'm gonna watch like The Norseman before I get to freaking watching this. But that's his Viking kind of movie.
I kind of want to watch Shadow of the Vampire again before this comes out. Just to see Willem Dafoe as Count Orlok.
God, I'm so glad they got Willem in this too.
Although it's just really hard not to see Lily Rose Depp not to be like, your stepmom pooped the bed.
I think she'll be all right in this. She looks. Robert does not cast like fucking idiot actors or terrible actors. So, and if he can pull a great performance out of her, and based on my assumption, watching the trailer in and of itself, I think he's going to get a really good performance out of her and everybody else. Willem looks like he's going to be crushing it in this trailer to begin with.
Her dad, in my eyes, is the greatest actor of my life. So, like,
regardless of what you think of him as a person, he is a very talented actor.
Yeah, like, yeah,
I'm glad they didn't cast him as Count Orlok. So that might have been like, okay, maybe not.
You know what?
I don't got him in Dark Shadows as a vampire. We don't need.
Dark Shadows was cool. I don't care what anybody says.
I know everybody freaking hates Dark Shadows, but I got a kick out of it because I don't even look at it like anything other than Dark Shadows in name only.
Yes.
And if you can at least totally differentiate that and be like, this is just something else entirely. It's just got the name on there. It's actually fine.
Yeah.
I enjoy the movie for what it is.
It's caricatures of old characters with a completely different spin. And it's funny, it's gross, it's savage, it's ironic. It was a fun flick.
I enjoyed it. I have really no issues. I've liked a more appropriate adaptation of Dark Shadows. You absolutely damn right. I wish there was one. Not ever probably going to happen. Nobody really remembers that show beyond our age group or older. So unfortunately, that's fading into a bit of obscurity, but there'll always be a place for that amongst all of us. So.
Oh, you know, we could put the reboot on NTV next year.
Yes, on 0 Point.
It got one season before the war shut it down.
That's true.
God damn Iraq.
Yeah, well, speaking of nightmares, we do have another headline here that I have up for us. Robert Englund, according to Fangoria, and this is big shock to everybody. Robert doesn't want to do Freddy anymore. We've only been hearing this for what, like the last 15 freaking years?
Yeah.
But that said, you know, they've gone back to him and they had a recent interview and, you know, he spoke, I know, bloody disgusting. We were just over there, but I want to kind of spread the love amongst the different websites. But, you know, he doesn't really want to do this anymore. He's like, there might be some gimmick thing that we could do a close-up or something, but no, I can't play him anymore. I'm too old. I think he's more talking about the physicality. Now, we've been talking about Ash versus Evil Dead animated form. We're getting Ghost, you know, Never Hike Alone is having an animated series, so it's going to be incorporating Ghost Jason Voorhees in that. You know, why not do an animated Nightmare on Elm Street at this point? And just let him voice the whole role. That would be a workaround. Or here's a thought. How about somebody actually work on getting us a Nightmare on Elm Street video game and letting him voice the character? You can still get his performance. He's still got the voice. He doesn't have to do the physicality. I still think you could maybe squeeze an actual live action film out of him if you shot it right and well.
Fair enough.
I think
Fair enough.
One more turn for him, but it's sad, but it's just him reiterating he's gonna be done as Freddy for the most part.
And that's too bad. Like, he was fantastic.
It's fine.
We're not going to see Jackie get another crack at it, which is really unfortunate because I liked Jackie.
Jackie was not the problem with that reboot.
No, it was just a bad movie. It was
bad
a bad
script, bad movie.
Yeah, it had a great cast. Yeah.
We never blame actors on this unless they actually sucked.
And this was in the Warner Brothers era, so that's why.
Yes.
They ruined everything wonderful and pure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember this Fangoria magazine because they talk about Friday the 13th, the TV series news.
Oh, goodness.
Which we just talked about on our podcast. So,
Jason censored slaughter scenes.
The Little Shop of Horrors remake, Freddy and Nancy's Dream reunion, Heather Langenkamp.
My first crush.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of the reference I was making. I could possibly do a voice, really, a high-end animated version. That would be nice to be asked to do, but I know I can't do the fight scenes more than one take now, one angle. I just can't be snapping my head or anything like that. I'm an old dog. Give me a break.
Yeah, no shit, man.
And he's 77, so yeah.
Well, men get puffy as we get older.
The last thing I actually saw him in was Stranger Things season 4, and I thought he did pretty good on that. So,
the last thing I can remember seeing him in was Bones, and that was a long, long time ago.
Oh, the TV show?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. But I got fondness for Freddy and Robert, from everything he's done. So he's earned his retirement, but like he's saying, give us something animated that Ash Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. All right. And let's see. If I had, we did Salem Slot, Nosferatu. We're not going to do box office because that usually gets outdated by tomorrow anyway. The big keynote about that is Joker Folie à Deux is earning only about $7 million in the box office previews. It's not doing well this weekend, but we'll find out tomorrow more official numbers about how well that's really doing, but it's not landing with people.
I heard that the ending was just crap.
I've already been spoiled on the ending, and Amy and I were going to go see that movie, and she's asked me, so how do you feel after hearing some of the reviews? And I'm like, I think I'm okay on waiting on this one for a while. So, and that said, in my last little bit of news, for you Five Nights at Freddy's people.
FNAF.
Yep. I know Blumhouse, but Megan, Five Nights at Freddy's, I enjoyed the heck out of these movies very well. And we're getting some interesting news here. We're getting ready to get this movie, it looks like probably next year. They're treating a second serving of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. They are preparing to enter production on the upcoming sequel in New Orleans. Let's see. The Five Nights at Freddy's 2-star said that the fans are going to flip for the follow-up to director Emma Tammy's 2023 feature adaptation of the popular horror video game franchise. It's much bigger. The stakes are higher. There's more animatronics being brought in, different animatronics being brought in, and the world just opens up in a big way. The FNAF stars Hutcherson and Mike Schmidt, a troubled security guard who begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza while spending his first night on the job. Realizes the the night shift at Freddy's won't be as easy a gig as he thought. And so they're working on the balance. They got the script. It's going to start production next year. And it is being set to premiere in December 5th, 2025. And Matthew Lillard is going to be back. He did sign a 3-picture deal. So he is your probably main villain going forward. Now, I haven't played the games. My wife has watched a lot of walkthroughs and Let's Plays. So I kind of know the story, and I got her all of the books. So she's a little bit more up on the story than I am. She enjoyed Five Nights at Freddy's movies, but she felt like this first one here so far was fine. It just didn't really get into the lore as much as she would have preferred. But it was a hit. It did make good money at the box office, and so they're getting ready to start shooting. And this is, if they are sticking with Henson, I am all for that. So Henson Studios doing the puppetry, I am always game for, and I will always give them my money.
Did they do the first movie?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you liked all the puppetry and the very first Five Nights at Freddy's movie, that was all Henson. They did a fantastic job on that. You had a hard time telling what was not a puppet in that.
Nice.
I think you'd probably like the movie. It wasn't ultimately very gory. I mean, you're more of a Willy's Wonderland fan. Yeah. And while that's more on the horror side, Five Nights at Freddy's is a little more PG of that. So,
and I dig that. And knowing that going in, and knowing that Matt Lillard doesn't want to make like a grody movie that families can't see, I'm okay with what they put out, and I'm willing to live with that. Like I said, I've learned to live with the Mummy and Van Helsing, so I could do that. I'm sure I could do this.
Yeah,
still can't do Chucky, or the new Child's Play movie, but I can't. Yeah.
Oh, the one with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to watch that. I made it about 10 minutes and I'm like, I'm not feeling this like at all. So I just kind of shut it off.
I got about an hour or so into it. And then I was kind of like, I have a kid being born. I got shit to go do.
I got a kid being born. I got stuff to do.
Like some guy was getting his head chopped off by like a snow mulcher or whatever, and then my kid was being born. You know how Zoe is.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Ash versus Evil Dead, you would have been like, later, lady, I'll be back tomorrow.
It can wait.
Hail to the king, baby.
Give daddy some sugar.
All right, on. Well, Kevin, thank you for joining me as always on our live stream Saturday night, 9:00.
Yes, this was the part where I'm supposed to shill, isn't it?
If you want to, or I could do it. When it's just us two, we're a bit nutty on here. So
yeah, so you can catch us here every Saturday night, like clockwork at 9 p.m. Always live, and then every Tuesday we come out with our 0 Point reviews, where we review a different movie each week, and then every other Wednesday we come out with ZTV. NTV, Nostalgia TV, the graveyard shift of forgotten television.
For that, I'm going to hand out some gifties.
Titties? What?
Gifties. Gifted memberships, Kevin.
Oh, yes. Have some. Thank you. Where we talk about some of our favorite classic TV shows that were canceled long before their time. Shows that didn't deserve to be canceled, but were. And even shows that anyway, yeah. We can go off on those all night. But yes, catch us here all the time. We're here several times throughout the week, uploading different clips, different stories, different surveys. We're always here.
Yep. Hit that little like button on the way out, everybody. And if you got any comments about any articles you would have liked us to cover that we didn't, we try and stay up on all the good horror, science fiction, superhero kind of news. And we love to talk about that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out, hit the little bell notification, and we will see you all on the next time, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace out, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Looks like like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
That's never happened to me before.
I've been waiting for you.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.